This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. It's opening day for Intuit Dome. That's a big deal for Los Angeles, even a bigger deal for Inglewood. They get another brand new, beautiful stadium. When the NFL decided to locate two teams to Los Angeles, the LA City Council said, why do we need them? Why not give them both to Inglewood? What the hell? Well, at least we have the Clippers in LA. Well, why would we want to keep them? Let's give them to Inglewood as well. So, two football teams, one basketball team, maybe two basketball teams in the future. You have to think that perhaps the Lakers might be playing at the Intuit Dome, which is one of the reasons they didn't call it the Clippers Dome. And they might be moving out as well. That's certainly possible. We'll find out. We'll see. But that's a big deal in L.A. We're also covering the Matthew Perry story, 5 arrests in that accidental overdose. Johnny Wachter, people detained, people arrested in that murder. Big deal. Peter Marshall passed away. Greg Kinn passed away. Almost too much news today. And then a report coming out of Orange County. Orange County. I thought everyone loved living in Orange County. But half the people are thinking of moving out.
Over half of people living...
Over half the people want to move out of Orange County. Why?
Over half of people living in Orange County are considering moving away or have considered leaving in the last 4 years. This is all according to a new survey by UC Irvine that found among those contemplating a move, more than 3 of 4 say that their number one issue is the high cost of housing.
Oh, that's true. Okay, that's true. I get it.
Of 4 say that their number one issue is the high cost of housing.
Yeah, it's very expensive to live in Orange County. I lived in Seal Beach for 3 years, and man, that was fantastic. It was like going on vacation every weekend. Slide into Seal Beach, and it was like being in Hawaii without that big plane ride, and it was beautiful. Oh, I love Seal Beach. Wish I would have stayed.
The median price for a home sold in Orange County in June was about $1.2 million.
Wow, the average price, $1.2 million.
This is all according to real estate information provider CoreLogic. The youngest people who...
All right, let's find out why young people want to leave. Young people want to get out of Orange County.
The youngest people who were polled say the county's job market is their other driving factor.
Okay, the young people want to leave because of job possibilities, because of the jobs, and they want to get out.
The youngest people who were polled say the county's job market is their other driving factor.
Yeah.
And 65 and older would-be leavers are far more likely to list politics as a reason for their potential move.
Oh, no. Orange County, got to get it together. All right, we have the 71 freeway is going to be shut down. Some lanes closing this weekend. I know it's very well traveled, but people listen to KFI.
On any given day, the traffic and construction on the 71 freeway in Chino Hills can set you back.
Yeah, the 71 really didn't get it together. They sort of half-assed that freeway. They didn't know whether there was a road. They had street traffic lights on it for a long, long time. I don't know if they still do or not. But it's one of those roads where they don't know whether it's a freeway or a road, a highway, a boulevard, a street, an avenue. And they just didn't really pay attention to putting that sucker together. And now it's come up and back to haunt them.
Just ask Shannon Carrillo, who's been living in the area for more than 30 years.
Oh,
Hopefully, once it's done, we're going to have not so much congestion. Literally, it can take me 30 minutes from Butterfield Ranch to the 91.
Wow, that's not very far.
So it's only 3 miles, and it can take 30 minutes to get through that.
But for many, the commute...
Are there still traffic lights on that, Angel? You're out there. You're the queen of traffic, not the ketamine queen, but the traffic queen. Are there still traffic lights on that 71?
So not below the 60, not south of the 60, but from the 60 on the portion that runs between the 60 and the 10.
Right.
They're working on eliminating that right now.
Okay.
So there's a lot of road work through that top stretch, but on the bottom stretch, no.
Okay.
They have
All right.
proper off ramps and everything.
Nice.
But for many, the commute along this stretch of the 71 is about to get tricky as a portion of the freeway will close this Friday evening and through the weekend.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The closure will allow crews to safely complete paving and striping of newly aligned southbound 71 lanes and to shift traffic onto those lanes.
David Knutson is with the Riverside County Transportation Commission and says the $137 million project, expected to be complete next year, will replace the existing single-loop connector between eastbound 91 and northbound 71.
All right, let's get our bearings again here. What is it going to do here?
Expected to be complete next year, will replace the existing single-loop connector between eastbound 91 and northbound 71.
All right, eastbound 91.
Between eastbound 91 and northbound 71.
Okay, where that dam is right there. Okay. All right, I got it. Okay. They're going to replace that. Because that is kind of a wild turn. It's you can't really speed there or else your car is going to start to do a somersault.
To a new two-lane direct connector.
Over the weekend, crews will demolish approximately 400 feet of existing southbound roadway, grading, excavating, laying subbase, pouring concrete, and placing temporary K-rail and guardrails along the way.
You think when this guy applied for Caltrans, they're like, I don't think he's a paver. I don't think he's a riveter. I don't think he's the guy out there striping. I don't see him out there, 104 degrees, sweating his ass off. Let's make this guy our spokesperson.
Over the weekend, crews will demolish approximately 400 feet of existing southbound roadway,
Right.
grading,
Right.
excavating,
Right.
laying subbase,
Right.
pouring concrete,
Yeah.
and placing temporary K-rail and guardrails along the way.
Ding dong with that guy. All right, the 71, part of it closing over the weekend. Bad vibes.
And it's only the southbound lanes
Okay.
that's
All right.
closing.
Just southbound.
Butterfield Ranch to the 91.
That's cool. Angel Martinez.
Still go north.
Still
Okay.
north. Okay. South is closed. All right.
Yes.
We have bad news for Oakland. I don't know how much more they can take, but San Francisco, Oakland, I think this is San Francisco. More bad news for San Francisco. When we come back, I don't know how much more they can handle. They lost the Raiders. They're losing the Athletics, the A's. They lost the Golden State Warriors. They lost an In-N-Out. And they're about to lose something else up in that area. We'll get back. We'll tell you what it is. Yeah. Bad vibes for Frisco, which I think they enjoy when you call it that.
Like NoCal.
Yeah. I guess that still irritates people who live up there. Oh, you're going to Frisco? Like, oh, don't call it that. We'll call it what we want.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
San Francisco lost a Denny's. That's what they lost, a Denny's. So there's the answer to that question. All right, Dean Sharp is on with us every single Thursday, and this is no exception. And from what I understand, he's changed his name. He now goes by Dean Benjamin Moore Sharp. Welcome to the program. How are you, bub?
I'm good.
Does that have any connection to the paint, Benjamin Moore?
Yes, it does. You know it does.
Wow.
Benjamin Moore is my favorite paint in the universe. You know what?
I like it too.
We trust all of our sponsors here, right? I mean, we only partner at KFI with people that we believe in, especially me on my show. Sometimes, though, you go out and grab somebody that you've been working with for 40 years. So when I came to the station, I said to one of our sales team, I said, "Hey, go get Benjamin Moore.
Good.
Let them be a sponsor of the show because it's the best paint on the planet." And they did.
Wow.
And so here we are.
They have a new paint. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called X, where you paint it. I think you've actually used this. I think you turned me on to it.
Scuff-X.
Yeah, for high volume, high traveled areas, you don't get scuffs on the wall. That's incredible. That's like a game changer.
Yeah, when they first showed it to me in the local paint store that I go to, I was like, "What are you telling me?" there's a great display, and it works. It's not a gimmick at all. There's a display. There's a regularly painted wall and a ScuffX painted wall, and they say, pull something out of your pocket, a key, a quarter, anything, and just go at it against this wall. And of course, on the regular wall, you're leaving these big gray streaks, and it crosses over to the ScuffX wall, and nothing. Wow. Nothing. And I was so impressed with it. We did some tests, and then Tina and I decided, because we were just finishing up a remodel on our house, we're like, you know what? Not only is now they did not create ScuffX for residences. They created it for
schools?
School, public libraries, commercial buildings that get a lot of it. But I thought that it was so silky and nice. We decided we're putting it in our entire house. So we literally have painted the inside of our entire house with ScuffX.
Oh, that's great.
We are a scuff-free home, and believe me, we need it.
Hey, I know this weekend you're doing a lot of your answering your emails, which you do a lot. You're very good at keeping up with them. I have the same question one of your emailers asked you. What is a good extension cord, and do they wear out?
Okay.
I have a million of them at home.
Yeah, so do I. They're just one of those things. If you do a lot of stuff around the house, right, you just end up kind of collecting extension cords.
Yes.
I'm not even exactly sure why, but it just works out that way. I thought that was a really good question. It was a really good question. That's why we've put it in the show for the weekend. But bottom line, I would say the very best professional grade extension cord that you can find these days is an extension cord. It's a 12 gauge cord, 12 gauge, very important.
Okay.
That means that you can run anything from your smallest little, tools to the big stuff, the table saw and whatever off of it, and it won't overheat and it won't break down on you. Plus, they're really well insulated. So a nice, pliable 12 gauge cord. And you want to try and test out an extension cord's pliability when you're in the store and it's nice and as cool as possible, because on a cold day an extension cord can just turn into a board, and it just it's not easy to work with. So you want it pliable. But here's the thing. Back in the day, now I'm dating myself, back in the day when I was a framer, so many years ago, we used to take standard extension cords, cut the ends off, cut the plugs off, and put on this, what we call a twist lock Hubble connection.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And the twist lock kept the cord from coming unplugged from the tool. Okay, because it plugged in and twisted and it locked in. And they were big and bulky and weird. But nowadays, there are some extension cords on the market. Look for them. Right on the end of the plug, you'll see a button, the female end of the cord. You'll see
that's great.
There's a little button there. And, on a tool or any kind of plug on the metal, those two holes that are at the very end of the right? Those things go in and they engage in a ball bearing inside this cord, and it locks it in.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And it just looks and works like any regular extension cord, but it locks it in. Let me tell you, if you've ever done any serious work around the house, you've experienced the frustration of just tugging on the tool a little bit and all of a sudden dead because you've pulled the plug out of the extension cord, or you're right in the middle of a cut and something happens, and that's even a dangerous situation. So I think the best extension cord on the planet has these ends with the tiny little locking button on them. They're brilliant.
You remember the old-fashioned way where if you needed two extension cords, you just tie a knot between the two of them?
Still do it. We still do it. You're not supposed to, because your second question, will it wear out? Yeah, that's how you get a cord to wear out on you.
You know what?
But,
Whenever I use one to cut the grass with an electric mower, and then like once or twice a year you run over the cord and it pops. And I'm so cheap that instead of going to buy a new one, I just go and buy the ends and repair it myself. It drives my wife crazy. She goes, "You're going to burn the house down."
Not if you seal it up well. But you need to post a picture of one of your extension cords with all the little mends on it along the way.
There's tape everywhere.
All the battle scars.
That's right. What is the latest and greatest options in shower drains? We just recently did my daughter's bathroom, and she has the square on the bottom where the drain is, and then tile on top of that, so it looks like it's all part of the shower. And I thought that was really cool. But there's advancements there, huh?
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a tile-in drain.
Okay.
So the drain actually it receives part of the flooring, and that's part of letting it go away, right?
Yeah.
You got linear drains that go all the way to one wall of the shower or the other, so you don't have to bowl the shower. Okay,
Oh,
it can
good.
just be a flat sloped surface. But I'll tell you, the absolute latest and greatest in drains that you don't see are the wall drains. Wall drains. So this is a drain that you're actually going to mount inside the wall of the shower, and as you run, let's say the far side, the long side of the shower. And you're going to slope the floor in that direction. And as you run the tile down, you're going to just stop the tile about a half an inch above the shower floor in the wall.
Oh, wow.
So there's literally no drain visible on the floor whatsoever.
Wow.
The water escapes through a slot in the wall and then down the drain. It's totally accessible. You can totally clean it.
Okay.
But talk about a drain that isn't there. That's the stuff these days.
But what's the insulation, and do you have to have a flashing on the other side to prevent it going all the way into the wall?
Yeah. No, the drain assembly, the pan that receives the water, you mount it into the wall and it's flashed into the wall tile. It's totally sealed into the wall tile. But the point is, it's not actually on the floor at all.
Oh, that's great, man. That's unbelievable. Hey, you know,
Yeah.
I always wondered about this. I know one of your emailers asked about it. But when you're moving furniture or, you know, a refrigerator into the house, or maybe, you know, you got some money and you got a piano, man, these doors are still 1948, you know, with how wide they are. They can't make another wide door.
Be very, very careful when you're buying furniture that you've already measured that you can get it into the house.
Right.
It's just a good idea, especially if you live in an older home. Yeah, now, standard exterior doors now by code are 36 inches. They're 3 feet wide. But even then, people are often looking for wider doors. And the good news is probably in the last 10 years, there has been an explosion. And I love this. You know, as a guy, you know, who works on high-end estates.
Sure.
We've been working with doors like this, paying ultra-premium custom prices forever, and never has it entered into the mainstream market. Well, now, I think, I want to say about 4 months ago, Simpson, which is arguably the largest door company in North America. I mean, there are Simpson doors at Home Depot and at Lowe's and at everywhere you look, there are Simpson doors. Simpson has now introduced a line of oversized, my favorite, pivot doors. A pivot door doesn't use standard hinges on one side. You come in about 6 to 9 inches, and there's a top and bottom bolt pivot, and the door swings on that pivot. But now we're talking about 4 foot wide doors, 5 foot wide doors, 6 foot wide entry doors that are mainstream doors. Now, they're not cheap, but they are now fully accessible to everybody and everywhere.
Buddy, I'll be listening this weekend. Lots of emails, lots of answers. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Tim.
Dean Sharp, everybody. Saturday and Sunday morning right here on KFI.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Matthew Perry, 5 arrests in that, I guess, accidental overdose, what they're calling it. The ketamine queen is on the hook. So if you've been, you know, buying drugs from the ketamine queen, if she cops a plea, you might be in for it. Also, Johnny Wachter, 4 people arrested in that case, in that murder in downtown L.A. A lot of publicity on that. So thank God his fellow actors and actresses, entertainment people kept that guy in the news, kept that guy in the top of mind of everybody. And those cops went after these guys and arrested 4 people. There was an earthquake in Lake Elsinore. Peter Marshall passed away. Greg Kinn from the Greg Kinn band passed away. It's getting crazy in L.A. All right, but at least we have our Denny's. San Francisco has just lost their Denny's. Do you know? Can you tell me how crazy a city has to be to lose a homeless shelter like Denny's, where people are coming in all hours of the night? I don't think there's a dress code for Denny's. I don't think Denny's has an official dress code. And Denny's says the people are too effed up for us to continue serving these slams and the build your owns and the moons over my hammy and the tater tots, whatever the loaded tater tots they sell. They're leaving San Francisco.
The last remaining Denny's in San Francisco has now closed. On August 1st, the Denny's on Mission Street shut down after being open for 25 years.
25 years, and they've had enough.
A spokesperson did not comment on the reason behind the decision, only saying it was not an easy one.
You know, if Donald Trump was smart, he would go to that Denny's and not even say anything. Just point to it and go, hey, huh? Hey, huh? Huh? Closed. Denny's closed. That's what's going on here. Denny's. Shut her down. They've lost an In-N-Out up there. They lost the Raiders. They're about to lose the A's. They lost the Golden State Warriors to San Jose. People are leaving San Francisco and Oakland. They're in a death spiral. That city. Death spiral. Now, they're trying to get people back in San Francisco by offering them free rent for their stores. Let's find out more.
In an effort to fill downtown storefronts, San Francisco is offering businesses up to 6 months of free rent. A lot of spaces were left empty following the COVID-19 pandemic.
Is that right? That's what it's they're blaming it on?
Following the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay. Well, guess what? The United States all had the COVID-19 pandemic, and we survived. San Francisco, you can't blame that on the COVID pandemic.
Following the COVID-19 pandemic.
No. Sweetie, that's not the reason people are leaving San Francisco. It has nothing to do with COVID.
Let's go ahead and bring in Sarah Dennis Phillips.
Okay.
She's the executive director of the Office of Economic and Workforce Development for the city.
Man, if she got her job, she got her work ahead of her. Oh, boy.
Of the Office of Economic and Workforce Development for the city of San Francisco. Thanks for being here.
You got it.
Can you tell us about the program? How does it work?
All right.
Yeah, happy to. Our Vacant to Vibrant program came out of Mayor Breed's downtown recovery plan that was launched last February.
And it's because of COVID?
The heart of the program is that we match local entrepreneurs, artists, small businesses with building owners that have ground floor storefronts. And we allow them 6 months of free rent, 3 to 6 months of free rent within that space. And what we hope and what we've seen with our first launch is that those turn into long-term businesses. We seed them through this program. And now our first cohort, which we launched last fall, are permanent parts of our downtown fabric.
All right. And what is that store?
How does the city pay for something like this?
Tax money.
You know, it's a lot more administrative than it is costly. We have a whole lot of interest from our entrepreneurs and small businesses.
Right. That wasn't the question, though. The question is, how is it paid for?
It's a lot more administrative than it is costly. We have a whole lot of interest from our entrepreneurs and small businesses. The
right. But how's it paid for?
amount of applications we've seen to the program is astounding.
Wow.
Almost 1,000 applications overall for a very limited number of spaces.
Mm-hmm. And how's it paid for?
We also have a lot of interest from building owners who are slowly coming forward to the realization that their ground floors are an investment in their upper stories, that the more active their ground floor is, the better chance they have of renting and getting more revenue out of their upper stories. And so given the interest on both the building side and the small business side, we can seed it with a very small amount of money to help the storefront build out in its initial phases, some investment for legal fees and signing leases, and a whole lot of technical assistance.
Okay, so tax dollars.
It's interesting. It's the way you describe it. It almost sounds like it's sort of a move-in special, right? That these building owners, they don't want those places to sit vacant. So you kind of give a little bit of that incentive. Can you explain how filling these vacancies sort of benefits everybody? How does it benefit the city? How does it benefit the standard of living for residents?
Oh, I think a good question.
Absolutely. I mean, we see so much benefit out of this program. Not only is it expanding our small business pool and giving entrepreneurs a shot in downtown, which, let's be honest, before in our pre-COVID times, they didn't have the capital to do. What we're also—
God, they're still blaming COVID on the trouble with San Francisco. They will never point out the fact that homelessness, people dumping on the streets, wild, out of control, heroin problems, violence, theft is out of control. None of that. It all goes back to just blaming COVID.
What we're also seeing is we're seeing a lively street front. We're seeing safer sidewalks that are now active, and we're seeing businesses want to come back to work because now they have the reason and incentives to. And we're seeing the numbers result in terms of our downtown foot traffic. While we still have a ways to go in terms of daytime recovery, our restaurants, bars, nightlife in downtown is back to pre-COVID levels because people are coming down for the things they want to do.
So are these businesses, after the 6 months, able to make it and stay? Because we know that I'm sure rent is still going to be high even with that special. And also, because I only have a little bit left with you, have you been getting calls from any other municipalities asking you about the program?
No.
We have, and we'll give our learnings to any city that wants to learn, because all major cities are facing the same structural changes in their downtown. And I will say that, yes, we are seeing long-term success with this program. Out of the initial cohort of storefronts that we launched last fall, 7 out of the 9 businesses seated there are now have long-term leases for the near future. And of the 2 that didn't, one of those actually never intended to be a long-term storefront. They wanted the holiday benefit. We're really hopeful that we'll see the same in the next cohort. And what we're also seeing is that the building owners are coming to the table and they are offering competitive terms that are, in line with our new reality of downtown. They're offering percentage-based rents. They now know these storefronts, these new businesses, and they want to be partners for the long term.
All right. Well, you hope San Francisco turns it around, but doesn't sound like they're addressing the problems of San Francisco. And they are deep. Very, very deep. And people who are from that area, one of the reasons why property values have not gone in the toilet and they're so high here in Southern California, because a ton of people who used to live in San Francisco are moving to Southern California. They have had it with San Francisco. That's what's keeping these prices down here, probably artificially high, because of all the people coming down with money from Northern California to live here in Southern California. And hopefully they don't destroy it like they destroyed San Francisco. So clean your act up around here. I know we don't look like it's we're cleaned up ours, but don't add to it. Don't add to it.
Do as we say, not as we do.
We can hardly afford any more guys crapping on the streets.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Hey, we've got KFI is sending you and a friend to Las Vegas for the 2024 iHeart Radio Music Festival. Oh, yeah. Presented by Capital One. It's September 20th and 21st. T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, 2 nights, 1 stage. Live performances by Dua Lipa, Doja Cat, Gwen Stefani, Keith Urban, and more. Buy your tickets at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out. That thing sells out every year. And keep listening to KFI for your chance to win 2 tickets to both nights of the festival, a 2-night hotel stay at an MGM Resorts destination, and a $200 gas card to get you there and back. Show off your pool side only at MGM Rewards. Visit MGMRewards.com for details. MGMRewards.com. Wow, what a day here. What a day. The Matthew Perry story, arrests in that accidental overdose. We had the Johnny, what's his name? Johnny Wachter. Sorry, I didn't have that note in front of me. Johnny Wachter, and the 4 arrests in that story. That was a big deal. And those are 2 major news stories that all came together today in one day. And literally hours apart. The Intuit Dome opens today. It's open right now. Yeah, they're letting people in right now. So those are 3 major stories, and it's unbelievable how much news can be made in one day. Lady Gaga might be joining Bruno Mars tonight at the stadium. We had the earthquake out at Lake Elsinore, 3.9 earthquake. Peter Marshall passed away at age 98, and I don't think we gave Peter Marshall, because of all the other news stories out there today, I don't think we gave Peter Marshall his due. So Peter Marshall was, one of the most beloved guys in Hollywood, one of the greatest hosts, I think probably the greatest game show host in the history of television. Let's find out more about Peter Marshall.
Peter Marshall spent 8 decades working in show business as a singer, stage star, comedian, actor, and game show host, among his many talents. I was a fan before I ever met Peter, and when I did meet him, well, he did not disappoint. He was kind, funny, charismatic, one of those people who, after 10 minutes, you felt like you knew for years. And on TV, anyway, we did.
And here's the master of the Hollywood Squares, Peter Marshall.
He was the best. Man, when he hosted Hollywood Squares, he was the absolute best. Funny guy, great ad libs. He was just awesome.
In 1966, Peter Marshall became the original host of the Hollywood Squares. He did it for 14 years. But as he told me in 2020, Squares was never part of his master plan.
I had been in show business 25 years. I started on Broadway. I started in London doing musicals and things. Part of a comedy. I never thought I'd wind up a game show. But I became an entity of sorts because of Squares.
The Quiet Man was one of John Wayne's few non-Western pictures. Where did the film take place? A public library.
That's Paul Lynde. What a great guy.
Because of Squares.
All right, let's hear that joke again, the Paul Lynde joke.
Was one of John Wayne's...
All right, wait, let me back it up. Hold on.
Because of Squares.
The Quiet Man was one of John Wayne's few non-Western pictures. Where did the film take place? A public library.
When the show returned to TV with new host Tom Bergeron, Peter was a guest for a special game show week. But Bergeron had an idea.
We got to ask him to swap positions. And he agreed to it. And I got to tell you, George, that was one of the highlights for me.
According to Reuters.
Reuters?
You know Reuters.
Reuters, sure.
Yeah. If a dog uses a high-pitched, unevenly placed bark, what is it telling you?
That would tell you that Bob Barker is at the front door with a pair of clippers, Peter. The Peter Marshall week was the absolute cherry on the sundae. And when people would ask me during the 6 years I did my version, do you feel like you're competing with the original? I said, well, no, because, no, that's going to be on the mountaintop, and all we can do is the best version of not screwing it up.
Yeah, Tom Bergeron was right. I used to watch that America's Funniest Home Videos, and I used to fast forward through those dumb videos just to hear Tom Bergeron and his raps.
Long before his time on Squares, Marshall was singing, acting, and joking on TV. He even did some commercials for Kellogg's.
An assortment of 10 packs, a little something for everybody called Kellogg's Variety.
He briefly hosted a variety show in the 70s, did The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, appeared in the movie version of Annie, and was part of the special A Gift of Music.
Wow, what a career this guy had.
You'll never know just how much I miss you.
Peter and his wife Lori would have celebrated their 35th anniversary on Monday. She told me before Peter died, she'd held him in her arms, watching him singing love songs on YouTube, feeling she was being serenaded by the love of her life.
Wow, that is kind of cool.
Lori said Peter was really a happy man who appreciated everything about life.
And he said on his tombstone he wants to be remembered as a guy who died of boredom. It's pretty funny. All right, we talk about Hollywood every Thursday at 6:50, and of course, it's being brought to you by Advanced Hair. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Make your appointment today, advancedhair.com. Mo Kelly, his whole crew coming up next on KFI AM 640. Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app.